Hi, small business owners. You've got Nicole here with Ampersand Studios, and today I'm going to teach you how to optimize your Instagram bio so you can get better quality followers, which leads to more leads and more sales. You're going to want to make sure that you download our checklist to start optimizing your small business profile on Instagram. First things first, what is your Instagram handle? I always recommend that you get an Instagram handle that is your business name. If it is unavailable, try to get as close as possible, maybe using a period in between two words or an underscore. Short and sweet is key. Then we've got your top line Instagram name. What a lot of people don't realize is this is actually the most searchable part of your entire Instagram bio. So a lot of times you'll see on other businesses, they'll have not only the name of the business or the name of the business owner, but also a description of the type of service that they provide and maybe even the location if that's important to the business. We also want to be cognizant of the way that our name is showing up in DMs, because if you go into your DMs, you'll see that Instagram kind of chops that second half of that username. So you want to lead with the thing that is going to help them recognize who you are. A lot of mistakes that I see with small businesses is that they lead with the descriptor. So if you are like a wedding photographer, then it says wedding photographer. And what your potential customer might see, maybe they are reaching out to a lot of different wedding photographers, and then you guys are all leading with wedding photographer or Portland area wedding photographer. You want to lead with your name or business name so that way they tie that to the conversation that they're having. So I always recommend starting with the business, then the description. Now for the profile picture. So your profile picture is teeny, teeny, tiny, and I want you to even think when you are looking at a phone, how much smaller that looks. So we want this to be something that is very visible when it's small. If you are a personal brand or maybe a solopreneur, I always recommend that you have a really close up smiling camera aware headshot. That is going to help them connect with you and recognize your face to your name and give that association. If you are maybe a bigger company, bigger brand, or you are a larger team that maybe you're not the face of the company, then you can definitely have your logo in that little bubble. We do recommend that it is maybe just the icon of your logo. We want to make sure that it fits in a circle, that it works in a circle. Don't try to squeeze a long skinny logo into a circle because it never goes well and it's always hard to read. Now for the not the most important part, but a very important part, your bio. Your bio is going to be the most carefully chosen 150 characters that you've ever had in your entire life. Ultimately, we want to know, who do you help? How do you help them? What problem do you solve? And how can they work with you? You want to say this in the most concise way. Think about in the bio, the characters that you're using and the words that you're using, that you're not also repeating with that top searchable name. So if you are a Portland area wedding photographer, you probably don't need to say that again in the bio. So think about other words that you could use that maybe people are searching, even if they are synonyms of the exact same thing. We want to be creative, but we also want to be super duper clear and straightforward. And ultimately, we want to end with a call to action. What do we want our viewers to do next? Do we want them to download our freebie? Do we want them to go to our website? Do we want them to book a discovery call? Be really clear on that bottom line of your bio, so that way they can click on the one clickable link that you have in Instagram right below to take them to whatever you want them to do next. With Instagram, now you can upload more than one clickable link, but for a long time you could only have that one link in profile. I personally still think as a user, it is more user-friendly just to have one link because they don't both show up. It's just the way that it's almost like a continued, like you have to click into it to see both links, which I don't think is as user-friendly. So we really like, if you have more than one link, to use something like a link tree. You can get an account for free, which you can have lots of links. We use Show It, which is where we host our website, and it makes a really beautiful link in profile landing page that we can have all of our freebies, lead magnets, our website, our book a call link, all of those things that we want to have at the fingertips. I also want you to be cognizant of having too many links. We don't want to have overwhelm. We want to tell them what to do next, and we want to have the first step of solving that problem that we solve really well right there in the links. So I should have said this first off, but you want to make sure that if you are an an Instagram business, that you have either a business or a creator account. Whatever account you choose will be kind of determined on the functions and features that are important to the type of business that you have. We personally have a creator account because it gives us more access to Instagram Reels music, and some other features that we find really valuable as a small business. One of the other features is that little status update that shows up in the DMs that kind of reminds people of what you've got going on. It's another little way to kind of pop a bubble reminder of what you have going on that day or whatever. For my businesses that want to be completely hands off and use Planoly and auto schedule all of their content, then you might need to do a business account in order for that platform to function properly. With both accounts, you should be able to have your contact links right up there in the bio, so that way they don't take up any space in your real bio. Another common mistake I see with small business owners is having the category that Instagram puts you in show up on your bio. So you might see this on some accounts, you might even have it on your own account, that it says like entrepreneur or real estate agent or whatever category you chose for your Instagram account. It will show up in kind of like a grade, right below your name. Do not have that show up on your account. You can go into your settings and turn that off. The reason I say that is because it does take up space on that above the fold area in your bio. And we want to make sure that those 150 characters that we are typing out so carefully are visible and not being cut off. Right below the website link that you have, that clickable hyperlink, you have the option to create story highlights. We love story highlights because it is a great way to showcase what you do in a way that maybe is a little bit off the cuff, a little behind the scenes. It makes it so your stories can stick around a little longer than 24 hours. You can categorize them in ways that are helpful for your users. So if you want to curate something that maybe shows the different services that you provide or the features of the products that you have, these are different options that you can utilize for your story highlights. We want those to be very easy to access and really straightforward of what I'm going to get there. As we are posting in the grid gets archived, so it starts our content starts drooping. So having those story highlights just right up in front, that way the content that they want to find is right at their fingertips. That is a really, really great tool to be utilizing for small business. Now for the grid, we always want to make sure that maybe if you're starting a new account or maybe starting over with your account, that you are launching an account with a 9 grid. We want to have 9 posts that can really sum up what a potential follower could expect with the type of content that you're going to be providing there. So I usually like to make sure that the grid is, somewhat aesthetically pleasing. It's less important than it was in the past, but I always like to make sure that the grid is something that my future followers are going to be able to tell what type of content we are posting and what we are doing. We want to make sure that it is balanced, that it feels like I know what to expect by the top 9 always. The trick about this is if you're always focused on the top 9 in your grid, then as you continually post, you're always looking at that top 9 and how it's performing and what that first impression is above the fold. And the trick is if you're always focused on the top 9, then you're gonna always have a bomb looking grid for the entire feed, because if you're going to make sure that it's nice and balanced, that you are talking about all of your main top categories or your content buckets, and that your potential followers and customers know what to expect from the type of content you provide. Instagram also has an option to pin the top 3 posts in your grid. So this is a cool feature if you want to utilize it. I have seen a lot of different ways that people are using these pin posts. You could do a carousel post that maybe talks about all the different services that you offer. Maybe it is an introduction to who you are and maybe a little bit of your story and your why. Maybe it's how people can work with you. Maybe it's your top performing post or reel. These are all great options to pin at the top of your grid. I do really recommend going back and revisiting these, because sometimes, if they've been sitting there for a couple of years, then it might be time to kind of revisit, update, or maybe repost them natively and then repin. So just be aware that you're not completely forgetting about these. There's also some really fun creative ways that you guys can utilize those top 3. I've seen using options to do a banner, so you can make a continuous image across all three posts in the grid, and so that way they make like, you know, a little billboard at the top of your Instagram grid, which is really fun too. So take advantage of those pinned posts, make sure that the content is relevant to your ideal customer and that you are ready to just explain what they are going to expect by your account when they are engaging with those top 3 posts that you have pinned in your profile. Thank you for watching. I hope this content was helpful for you guys. Follow us for more easy and fun branding tips for your small business.